What is going on, college basketball fans? Welcome back to another video, and today we are starting our first of many Feast Week tournaments. This is one of the best weeks in college basketball, is the week from this Thursday all the way through Thanksgiving, really all the way till the start of December. We get Feast Week tournaments, which are super fun, some of the best parts of the early season of college basketball. And the first one we're going to be predicting here starts this Thursday here in 2 days, and it's the Charleston Classic. And we got a lot of pretty good teams in here, and I'm very excited to talk about a lot of these teams. Some pretty good mid-majors, a couple of undefeated teams still in here. It's going to be a lot of fun here, and we got this one, and also dropping later tonight, a separate video is going to be the Bahamas tournament. It has 4 teams: Virginia, Tennessee, Baylor, and St. John's. That's going to be a really good one as well. So that will drop as a separate video later today. So be on the lookout for that one, guys. And make sure you guys subscribe before we get started, because we're going to be predicting all the Feast Week tournaments that have at least some decent teams in them. And we have a ton of other college basketball content here on the channel as well. So make sure you guys go check out the channel, hit that sub button, and let me know who you guys think is going to win the 2024 Charleston Classic. We also got a good one tonight, guys. Purdue and Marquette. Let me know who you guys think is going to win that game. I'm very excited to watch that game tonight. But let's get into predicting the Charleston Classic here. We got Miami and Drake. And Drake, surprisingly, after losing their head coach to West Virginia, losing Tucker DeVries, and all those great players that they had last year to the transfer portal, they are undefeated up to this point in the season. So kind of a shocker. This is going to be their first real test. And similarly so, Miami is getting their first real test as well. Drake is a good mid-major program, even though they are kind of in a rebuilding phase because of all the transfers that left and their coach left last season. They are still going to be feisty and trying to win this game. But I do think Miami has enough guards. They are a well-coached team. They still got Nigel Packard. They still got Matt Cleveland. They got Blackman on the team, who's playing really good this season. I think Miami is going to have enough to be able to win this one in round 1 against the Drake Bulldogs, and I am going to move them on there, and we are going to send Drake over to the losers bracket on the other side. Next up, we have Oklahoma State versus Florida Atlantic, and this is an interesting matchup. Oklahoma State undefeated, another one of those teams untested up to this point in the season. Florida Atlantic has 2 losses, but they're not that bad of losses. They lost in double overtime in what I think probably the best game of the season so far to Charleston. And they also lost to Central Florida in another very good close game. And UCF is a very good team. So I think Florida Atlantic, even though they have the 2 losses, Oklahoma State doesn't have a loss yet. I am going to pick Florida Atlantic to win this game, and maybe the first of a couple mid-majors that I am taking over Power 5 conference teams, as we take Florida Atlantic to defeat Oklahoma State here in this one. Florida Atlantic, like I said, they already had a test earlier this season to Central Florida. I think that was actually their last game. So they've been tested by a Big 12 team already. Kept it close with Central Florida. I expect Central Florida to be better than Oklahoma State by quite a bit, honestly. So that's kind of my measuring stick for this game. And I think Florida Atlantic is going to win this game. Oklahoma State does have some seniors on this team, which makes me think it will be a close game, and they could possibly win it for sure. But I am going to have them lose and move on here to the losers bracket. Next up, we have Seton Hall versus VCU, and the VCU Rams have been excellent this season. They have been one of my favorite mid-majors so far this season as far as how good they've looked, and that's a huge part to their guards. They have 3 really good guards on this team, and they've been playing fantastic. Seton Hall, on the other hand, they have not looked the best this year. Although in their last outing, they did hold their opponent under 30 points. And to hold any Division I team under 30 points, I think they won like 55-29, something like that. Shows that you have elite defense. And I really feel like Shaheen Holloway and the Seton Hall team are going to rely on that a lot for the rest of this season. I don't see them making the NCAA tournament. Possibly the NIT if they can get things turned around, and maybe even it would help them a lot if they can make a little bit of a run, get a win or 2 in this bracket here. But I just don't see them being able to beat VCU. I think they're going to have excellent defense. They're going to try to slow down those guards, but I think it's going to be too much scoring from VCU's standpoint, and I think they are going to be able to get by the Seton Hall Pirates. I expect VCU to actually be favored in this game as the mid-major, but I think that they are going to be able to get the job done against Seton Hall, and we move the Pirates over here to the losers bracket. Next up, we have another really good mid-major against another pretty decent, Power 5 team. I don't know if I expect Vanderbilt to make March Madness this year, to make the NCAA tournament. Vanderbilt is definitely a team that I could see in the NIT. And really a lot of these teams, as far as Drake possibly, Oklahoma State, Florida Atlantic, Seton Hall maybe, Vanderbilt, are all teams I could see as like NIT teams, just on the outside of making the NCAA tournament. But Vanderbilt does have a couple of really good guards, including transfer from Michigan State, A.J. Hoggard, who I think is going to have to be a big reason, a big piece to beating Nevada. However, I think Nevada, they have a lot of length, a lot of defense. It is going to be hard for this Vanderbilt team. I think Nevada is going to win the battle defensively, and I think Nick Davidson, the big center, has a big day against Vanderbilt, and that is the reason I am going to pick my third mid-major over Power 5 teams in this tournament as Nevada beats Vanderbilt. I'm interested to see who is favored at the opening lines of that game, because I feel like that one's going to be pretty close. I feel like it's going to be within like 2-3 points on the spread. So that one could go either way for sure, but I'm going to go with the Nevada Wolfpack. And part of that is because I would love to see a mid-major matchup in the semifinals of the Charleston Classic between VCU and Nevada. So I'm being slightly biased because I want to see that matchup so bad. But I could definitely see Vanderbilt trying to get a win or two in this tournament. But Nevada is a good program. The Mountain West is a good conference in college basketball, and I like them to win that game, so I'm going to take Nevada there. Let's go ahead and get through the losers bracket first, because I'm just going to kind of run through it. It doesn't really matter too much. But for 5th place, we are going to have, I think Oklahoma State gets by Drake here. I think Drake does have some decent players on the team. They're in the rebuilding phase, and I don't really have much faith in Oklahoma State, but I am going to pick them to win just because they do have some veterans on the team like Bryce Thompson, like Avery. So I feel like with those seniors, they're going to be able to get by Drake, but that's going to be a very close game. So we're going to send Drake down here to the 7th place game. And then we do have Seton Hall versus Vanderbilt. And Seton Hall's defense could definitely win them that game. But I am, however, going to go with Vanderbilt to win. I think they are the better team. I think they got better guards on this team, and guard play is very important whenever you're playing back-to-back-to-back nights. You need your guard to be on point, and Vanderbilt's got a couple of them. So I'm going to take Vandy here to beat Seton Hall and head over to the 5th place game against Oklahoma State. And I am going to have Vandy beat Oklahoma State there for 5th place. And I am going to have Seton Hall with their defense defeat Drake for 7th place. So we have our top 4 over here in the semifinals. 5th place Vanderbilt, 6th place Oklahoma State, 7th place Seton Hall, and 8th place Drake. So let's head over to our top 4 teams. We do have Miami and Florida Atlantic, 2 Florida teams. That should be a really fun one. Like I said, Miami's kind of untested up to this point. Drake is a decent team, nothing to write home about, though. I think that they'll get by them fairly easily. It's a possibility it could be a close game or they could get upset, but I expect Miami to win that game. Florida Atlantic, I feel like, they've been keeping it competitive with some good teams, and I feel like they're going to beat Oklahoma State. I don't think they're going to beat Miami, though. I think Miami, again, the guard play comes into account. I think Nigel Pack he's got to be a senior, right? He's been in Miami. This is now his 3rd year, and then he was a freshman at Kansas State. So I want to say, Nigel Pack's got to be a senior. He's been to a Final Four. I think Miami is going to be able to get it done against Florida Atlantic here, and move on to the Charleston Classic Championship. And next up, we do have VCU versus Nevada, and this is going to be a really fun game. This is one of those games I can see both of these teams making the NCAA tournament this year, and I could see this one going either way. I am going to pick VCU. I do think that they are the better team, and I got to go with VCU in this one. Between Max Scholga, Joe Basissel, they got some really good guards on this team. I'm excited to see them get tested in a game like this against Nevada and a good scrappy defensive team in Seton Hall. Well, Seton Hall's not a good team, but they're scrappy, they're defensive. It's going to be an interesting test for these guards. I think that's really going to warm them up to Nevada, and VCU is going to be able to knock them off. We're going to go ahead and send Nevada and also FAU down here to the third place game because they got knocked out in the semifinal, and I will go ahead and pick that game. Right now, I think Nevada is the better team over Florida Atlantic, so I'm going to have Nevada as my third place team. And as far as my champion, we got Miami, we got VCU. Both these teams have really good guards. I think the best guards out of this field, and that's a huge reason why. I think these are the two best teams in this field of these 8 teams, and I am actually going to take VCU to win the whole thing, and that is a little bit bold. I feel like Miami, being a Power 5 team, even though they're kind of untested this year heading into this tournament, so is VCU. I feel like they are probably be slight favored over VCU, but it's going to be a close spread. But I am going to take Virginia Commonwealth. Give me the Rams, man, to win the Charleston Classic 2024, and Max Scholga to be the MVP in the 2 last games against Nevada and Miami. I feel like he is going to really go off in these games, and beating a team like Miami and Nevada, that could possibly be, some quad 1, quad 2 wins there for VCU to possibly get even in that large bid out of the A10 with Dayton, Loyola Chicago, St. Joseph's. There's some really good teams in the A10, man, so you never know what could happen in the A10 tournament. This is going to be very valuable for them as far as an at-large possibility when we get to March Madness. So I am going to take VCU, going to be very important, but I think that they can get it done, and that is who I'm picking to win. So let me know who you guys think is going to win the 2024 Charleston Classic down below in the comment section, guys. And make sure you guys subscribe. We have the marh Hoops Challenge coming out later tonight. Let me know who you guys think is going to win the game tonight between Purdue and Marquette. Super excited for that one, guys. That's going to be some high-level basketball. And, yeah, guys, subscribe if you guys are new. Thank you so much for watching.